Welcome to the Stocks with Josh show. I've got three kings of finance here with me today. These guys are dropping nuggets on the market all the time. I'm excited about sharing with you guys this moment after the aftermath of Fed's rate hike and how the markets reacted. I was in both ways. I had long calls and I had short positions, and I had short positions that got wrecked and long calls that popped. We're going to dive into stocks today. We're going to talk about, is this bull run going to continue? Is there going to be a pullback? We're going to examine all of it. I'm going to just kick right off. Before we begin, hit that like. I've got the links for these three guys in the description of the video. Go right now and make sure that you are subscribed to each one of them. Check to see if you are subscribed. You need the content that each of them are laying out. I watch the content. It feeds me. It gets me thinking, gets me examining my positions. It's, when you do it as a community and as a group of investors, you begin to get confluence. We need to be stretched. So go right now and subscribe to their pages. I'm just going to introduce Larry from Stock Up with Larry Jones. He's going to set the tone. I'm going to give him the first reaction to the day. Larry, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, good people? How y'all doing? Listen, first, we want to set the house in order. This is Josh's first time hosting. So we want to be respectful with our language. We want to be respectful of each other. We are here to feed the family. We are here to give and receive and to learn, okay? So we need you guys to help us to keep the pages clean. Let's keep it clean. Let's stay positive, all right? Because there is a lot of money to be made, okay? So that's what I want to say. Listen, when we started this journey, it actually started with me and Kenan, and then Mo, and then now Josh, right? And I put these guys together not because they had the biggest pages, because we represent you guys. We represent America and any other country. So the all of us together is just a blessing. I see it as a blessing, okay? So that's what I want to start out with. So we're going to be respectful because we are all positive people. And again, I'm just saying, for my page, I don't want anyone ever coming to my page saying anything negative about any of my brothers. And these are my brothers. You're just going to get blocked, all right? Right? All right.
All right.
Be kind, rewind. Go ahead, John.
I want to jump right into it. Mo, I'm going to start off with you. I really enjoyed the video that you did the other day. You brought out two opinions. You brought out, we have... Michael Burry, and we had, what's his name from CNBC?
Jim Cramer.
Jim Cramer. I'd love to just get your thoughts on the day with those two different opinions going into this massive moment.
It was a wild one. It's not a lot of times we come out here and we talk. The old running joke is just do the opposite of Jim Cramer and you'll make money based on all the stocks he's talked about over the long run. But you had a major thing. You had Michael Burry come out. He said one word on a tweet yesterday, for those that don't know: sell. So, of course, I talked about that in the video you're talking about. Put it out, sell. Check out what he said. And for those following along, you had Jim Cramer saying that the bull market is now started and it's time to buy the dip. And you had obviously Michael Burry saying it's time to sell. Down in the comments, folks, which one do you agree with right now? I've come out on my channel and I've said this before, because of course you guys know, if you watch all of it, it's funny for me. Larry, you brought up being positive and this and that. I agree 100%. Cherry picking, when you come out and have a whole portfolio, like I have my portfolio, I told you it's half bonds now, and they did very well today. And of course, we have the other recession-proof stocks. They were up. And of course, we had Tesla, some of the growth plays. They were up. And I had a sqqq, which is the inverse triple leverage for that NASDAQ 100. And that is in there as my hedge. That's in there in case Jay Powell decided to do something to mess with everything. You can buy a put option. You can short some things. And I chose to go with the inverse ETF. Now, who was right out of those two? And that's the funny thing. I always get a laugh out of this. We have 2 hours of the market after the Fed. The market drops initially. We have that rally. The market goes up 2.5% off those lows. It's beautiful. Everybody's making money. Things are out there going well. And of course, once we see all this, you have to think it's been 2 hours, guys. 2 hours. That does not mean that we're not going to have a recession. That doesn't mean that, once again, manufacturing numbers, if you didn't see that today, they came in lower than expected. They are still in contraction. I believe it was 48.4. Anything under 50 is contraction. They came in at 47.4. They had a record for manufacturers, a record low in future orders. That's how bad it's going to get. Once we get to around summer, you will see a recession. And I love making money on the way up. It gives me more time to take some of those profits and prepare for that recession. And so I don't know about you three, and that's fine. We don't always have to agree, but I am still feeling very sure we are going to see a recession in the United States in 2023. We will, and I still believe Q2 will be the beginning of that recession. At the latest, Q3. All the numbers are screaming it, and Powell didn't say much to make me feel all warm and fuzzy. And so is Michael Burry right? Is Jim Cramer right? If you're talking about 2 hours, Jim Cramer was right. If you're talking about the next 12 months, I still think Michael Burry's right.
So it sounds to me, Mo, like you might be saying that Jim Cramer is right, but there is an hourglass that's been turned, and we have no idea how long before he is not right.
Well, he's riding the wave. I mean, you see, he comes out at the end of the month of January after you have one of the best Januaries in history and says the bull market started. Now, if you're making your opinion at that moment and you say that, well, then you're saying from here on out for the rest of this year, it's time to buy. And that means start buying. And that's what he said. You had Michael Burry say at this day, this was yesterday, sell. And he believes, I can't speak for both of these guys, but in my opinion, when you say that, you're telling people, lock in your gains. It's about to get rough. And so I look at both of them. I think what is more likely if we have a recession? That the market just goes wild, even higher, 20, 30, 40% up, or there's a chance that we go down 20% with a recession. Well, you know my opinion on that. And I think there's stocks that you can make money on that way down. But just like when we go on a nice big bull market run, which we will by the end of this year, we'll get through this recession, hopefully, and we'll start that next bull cycle, which will last 4 years. But you can dollar cost average into utilities, the bonds. I'm telling you, bonds are still where it's at. I expect the Fed by the end of the year to cut rates because we're in a recession, not because we beat inflation and everything. You can't have both. You can't beat inflation and you got the unemployment level, right? It's real low, record. You're hearing there's a record amount of jobs that are needed. I think it was over 11 million. You can't sit there and say, well, we're going to drop the rates and have a demand go up when we drop rates and create more need for workers and not expect inflation to continue to stay up, because 11 million workers are needed. They have to pay for those workers. And to get those workers from other places, they got to pay more. Are they just going to absorb those costs? Are they going to pass the cost of that higher labor on to the consumers? And I already know the answer. And yeah, you're having a drop in inflation now, but mark my words, in 3 to 6 months, you're going to have it kind of peter out. You're going to see it just kind of level out, and it's not going to drop one time. Everybody's going to say, what's going on? I thought it was just dropping like a rock. And it'll pause for a little bit. And that's when the Fed's going to have to make a nasty decision. And we'll see what happens at that point. But there's a lot more behind this than I think a lot of people realize. They're just looking at the markets and not looking at the whole economy. They're two separate beasts. You can have one going up while the other one's dropping. I can tell you that.
Well, let me set up.
We'll see what happens.
Thank you, Mo. I'm going to go over a little bit of a brief technical, and then I'm going to set Kenan up on a question. So in a past video, I shared that at the first quarter of 2022, we had a very similar setup to the one that we've got here in 2023. The first quarter started off in the first month, we got a double top, okay, which is a very bearish signal. It was signaling the whole rest of 2022 might be a disaster. and we got a confirmation break of that double top, yet the market turned around, hooked up, and went and got above that double top. It went 100 points higher, and then it free falled for the next 2 months, down around 22%. So I found it very interesting that in the first first quarter of 2023, we have a very similar setup. And so I'm going to ask you, Kenan, do you right now, and I know that, we can only look so far down the road, but what is your view of where did you position yourself? I know that you did the video yesterday. How did you play going into these earnings? And when will you pull the trigger on taking profits? I know you took some profits, had some very big gains. Tell us about that. You've got yourself muted, I think.
Oh, there Thank you very much. So thanks, Josh, for having me on. If you don't know who I am, I'm Kenan Grace, and I have a YouTube channel. I talk about stocks and everything like that too, just like Josh, right? So again, major shout out to Josh. And I want to say this. There are 1,100 people in here, almost 1,200. There's no reason, none, 0% of a reason why we don't have at least 700 likes. Because I know when you go to most YouTube pages and this and that, everybody's all scattered. No, we are a tight-knit family here. So let's show Josh some love and let's hit that like button. What this will do is this will help him. And we already know how good Josh is at what he does. Let's help him to be able to get the message out. So let's take a quick second. Just pause for a second. See if the like button is highlighted on your end. And if it's not, go ahead and do so. And then make sure that it's actually clicked, because sometimes YouTube playing around with the numbers. So then go ahead and click that like. I can see him rolling up. Shout out to all of y'all. Much appreciated. And if you did like the video, let us know. Put a 1 in the chat so then we know that you did it, and we appreciate you for that. Just know, family, and I see y'all thumbs coming in. So now I want to say this, and Josh, thank you for that. Understand this. You got to have a long-term portfolio. You got to have a short-term portfolio. If you into crypto, you got to have a crypto portfolio. What we like to do, all of us, all 4 of us here, is we like to have an account here. Maybe that's moomoo. An account here. Maybe that's Weeble. An account here. Maybe that's public. Maybe that's whatever. TD Ameritrade, right? And we do different things with those accounts. So we're not digging in our right pocket and putting the money in our left pocket. We keep the long-term investments here. We keep the short-term investments here. Short-term investments, that means you buy low and then you sell high, but you got a short-term time horizon on that. So then you say, okay, I already got a plan. And shout out to everybody putting a 1 in the chat. We really appreciate y'all. Look how quick that was for us to get to 700. Listen, I knew we was a tight-knit family, and y'all already confirmed it. So appreciate y'all blowing the expectations out of the water too, by the way, with the likes. I appreciate y'all for that. Shout out to Josh again. Now, I want to continue to say this. In your short-term plays, you got to recognize that they're short-term. And I made a video the other day, and I was talking about invalidation, right? Because it was a video that Larry did. Larry was talking about how he got into an option play, and the option play ran up. Somebody said, man, Larry, you and Josh, y'all was talking about if it comes down, this is what you're going to do. Yeah, if it comes down, this is what we'll do. But remember, invalidation. Some things can invalidate your bull thesis or invalidate your bear thesis. So you trade the market that you are in, and it's not always the one that you want. But then you have to be able to recognize what happens. Like Josh was just saying, he's talking about he recognized a double top pattern on the chart. Do you know what that is? If not, you should go and look and see, because oftentimes the charts are talking to you. Jerome Powell isn't the only one that's talking to you. The charts are talking to you too. You just got to be able to understand what they're saying. So then this is why we get on here and we try to give you the information. And then we also try to give you the information on, do you understand what a long-term hold is? Like we might look at Microsoft like that. We might look at Apple like that. We might look at the ETFs or the bonds like that, right? But when we trade things like Carvana, right? This company is not profitable. We might head into a recession depending on what one man says on the news. Hold up. We don't hold on to those stocks for a long time. We make money on those and we get out of those. Then we playing with house money at that point. We might jump back in with a little, but we got to have a plan. Like I tell you, the 5 Ps. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Say it with me again. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. You want to be prepared and not surprised. So then if you see me make a video on Carvana, and then Carvana, it basically doubles in a day, guess what? I don't want to hear about Carvana in a month. because I'm not treating this like Apple. I'm not treating this like I'm treating VTI or VO. I'm not treating it like that. These things are trades. So then you say this, you have some YouTuber, whoever, make a video. Oh man, look, Kenan, you were talking about Carvana. Keep in mind, it's double. It's basically doubled in a day. But am I looking to treat this like Microsoft? Absolutely not. This is called a swing trade. You got to understand the difference between a long-term hold, a swing trade, trading options, so you can understand what's going on. That's why I wore this shirt to work today. You got to trade with the chart and not with your heart, so then you can understand what's going on, family. And just to finalize what I'm saying right here is understand this. You heard this term before, but I really want you to understand why you heard it. It's FUD, F-U-D, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. We all heard of that, right? Understand that the market really moves based on FUD or no FUD. So we all expected a 25 basis point rate hike, aka 0.25% interest rate hike. Guess what? We got it. What does FUD stand for? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Was there any uncertainty? Did we doubt that the 25 basis point was going to happen after he said it? No, it was all certain. So then we got a little bit of a run. We don't want to get married to any direction on the market. We know long-term it generally goes up. We don't want to get married, but we understand that certainty is what helps us to pop off. So now that we know we got the 25 basis point rate hike, we know that Jerome Powell is planning on continuing the rate hikes, but slowly as the year goes on. I want you to remember this date. It's going to be actually easy. It's Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is when we're going to get the CPI data. Mark that on your calendar. So if you're looking for the market to make a drastic move again, it's going to be based on what inflation is doing, because inflation is going to inform Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve as to what they need to do in terms of the rate hikes. So make sure, again, I want to end on that so you remember, Valentine's Day, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. You need to be ready to hear what the rate hikes, or not the rate hikes, the consumer price index, what inflation is going to be. So then you can understand and say, okay, if inflation right now on the books is about 6.5, everything is 6.5% on average, more expensive than it was last year. If that starts to drop down, family, that's going to be a great sign, at least in the short term, for the market to give us what we want to see. So that's what I got for you, Josh. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, Kenan. I just want to talk about Kenan's Discord for a moment. And I just want to say, Kenan, my people love you, man. I get more comments about you in my chat group. And he's got a great Discord. And if you have not been trading options, you want to trade options, option trading skyrocketed in the second half of last year, and it's been rising in 2023. A lot of people have taken money off, gone risk off. They've gone to cash, but they're sitting there with a pile of cash and they're like, you know what? I still want to play these markets. They're playing them with options. And Kenan does a great job introducing people. He goes live twice a week, I think Tuesdays and Thursdays, right, Kenan?
Yes, absolutely.
And he's walking them through it. Over there. He's got free classes in his Discord, so you can sort of get caught up and then attempt a live with him. So yeah, I don't have that Discord, and honestly, I think that he's got the best that I've seen right now. So if you have not started options, I would start your journey right there. Larry, I want to come to you and talk about options. I just want you to share with me. Now, you are the momentum trader. You are the OG stock picker. You have made some great calls. I made some money. You gave me recently GEHC. I shouted it out on my page. I did the technicals on it. I told everybody this is going to come back to $67. It was around $69 at the time. I said, that's when I'm getting in. But this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you guys what to buy, sell, or hold, but I'm going to get in at 67. I got in. It ran up above 70 right away. I know you've been playing it. It's not your only hot stock that you've shared with me personally. I've made money this week. I've shared it with my family. I've run some technicals on it. Tell me a little bit about your plays, Larry.
For those that's been following it, actually in the last few days, I gave GEHC, I gave Badu, I gave TCOM, I gave LAC. Every single option that I got in was up immensely. I mean, immensely. Most of them were close to 100%. And I've been sharing them with Josh, right? But people always say, man, you killing it on these option plays. Why don't you teach? The first thing I say, and none of them have been the, the S&P. None of them has been the regular thing that people do options on daily. None of them have been the SQQ and the TQQ. You guys know I make a killing on those two. I suggest for everybody to take Kenan's class because I'm a momentum trader and I go off of momentum and news, right? And so I find a base and I find where that option is. And here's one of the things that I do, Josh, as you know. If I'm doing a put on an option, I'll sometimes wait until the Dow is up 400 points. And then I'll do the put because I'm going to make that thing dance more times by doing that, and vice versa. Sometimes I'll do a call on an option and I'll wait till the market tanks down because I know I'll make more money. I'll watch it go down. So for instance, if I'm going to buy 10 contracts or 50 contracts, Josh, you know, the other day I bought 100 contracts or something. And I bought 800 contracts.
You ramp up. I mean, honestly, I don't think I've ramped up one time the way I've seen you ramp up in position size.
Well, but sometimes I'll watch a potential trade for a couple of days and I'll just buy one and I'll watch the price action. Now I'll go and I'll do my due diligence and see that there's good news coming further out. And then I'll wait until the market tanks and then I'll do a call on it and I'll start doubling down when it's near its low. And then that next morning it starts dancing, it starts multiplying. And, some of them I've been up as much as 400 and 500%, sometimes in 24 hours. But in this market, in this bear market, I've made more money than I do in a bull market. And everybody's a genius in a bull market, but I strongly suggest everybody learn the fundamentals. Now, I'm working on something personally that's going to help you guys that I will be having ready in a couple of weeks in beta. But for right now, everybody that comes to me, I say, go take Kenan's class, right? And so that's where I am with it. Did that answer your question,
It
Josh?
did. I would love for you. I'm going to ask all the guys here, what play that you guys have done today or in the last week that you guys are most excited about? Now, it might be over, but I'm just curious which play. We'll start with you, Larry, then I'm going to go to you, Mo, and then you, Kenan. I would love to hear your best and worst play. I'll give you guys mine as well. But Larry, since I've got you up, why don't you tell us what play did you go, dang, I did that right?
I did it right?
You did it right. And then which one didn't go quite well?
Okay, Google, actually in the last 2 weeks, I didn't have anything that went wrong. I showed you you saw my portfolio.
I've actually seen screenshots of Larry's plays. I get them throughout the day. We go back and forth. So I can attest that they were green.
Every single option I was in was a killer because I don't trade every day. I wait for opportunity.
But wait a minute, brother. Wait a minute, brother. I thought you missed the bottom.
Let's talk about missing the bottom. Okay. So
it sounds like you're making money. I thought you missed the bottom. Explain that to me.
But people are like, oh, you missed the Tesla play. I made money on Tesla. I made over 10 G's on Tesla. One I shared with the family. I made in 4 hours, I made $5,200 on Tesla. But now I'm out, right? And so for those of you that think you missed the bottom, to truly know if you missed the bottom, then you need to go back to a minimum of January of 2022, right, Josh? Because that's when that January of 2022. So you need to go a year back because that's when the market really starts. But really, you go back to the winter of 2021 and see how much the market has come down for people that think they missed the bottom. You have not missed the bottom, right? You don't, should I say, let me reword that. You don't know if you've missed the bottom. First of all, I agree 100% with what Mo said. Every single thing he said, I was like, yep. Yep. And then Kenan came behind. And we don't always agree. You can just rewind everything Mo said. And I'm like, yep, Mo literally checked all of the boxes. Mo, you been eating your weeds today, man? What's going on, man? Mo checked every single. We could have just ended when Mo finished. We could have just ended the live because I'm just telling you, I agree 100% with everything Mo said. There's short term and there's long term. This is a short term. Trade the market that you're in is what I always say. So right now, yeah, we're going to make this dance and make some money. But long term, the yield curve is still inverted. There's still some macro negative news to come, right? That could come. So what am I doing from here on out? I'm simply going to trust the data.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to set up some of my trades this week. My biggest win in recent days was Tesla on the day that it ran up. Meta is performing similarly right now. And I'm just going to go talk about a chat, guys, that I got earlier in the day when Meta's earnings came out. Someone said that they had bought a ton of calls in the chat group, and initially the stock dropped, but then they came out with some guidance. And the stock has taken off. I believe it's up. It went up on the day and then another 30. It closed $4 up on the day. And then it went up. Right now it's sitting $30 up. So this is another big tech runner that's just burning after hours. But my biggest runner was Tesla in recent days. And then my biggest, I would call it a loser, would be my hedge on my long-term investments of sqqq. I have taken that as a hedge position. Now, I came out on Monday and I told everybody, I said, guys, we had a nice little drop in the market Monday morning. And I came out and said, okay, if you didn't set your stop loss, we went from 38 bucks to 40, above 40. I said, you might have been just given a nice little pause to go into your account right now and set a stop loss so that you can be protected going into the rest of this week. Now, I had a stop loss, but I had a very large position in sqqq. That got triggered. That was not a winner, but I will tell you that it has dropped and I'm probably going to re-enter again because I don't believe that Michael Burry was wrong and I don't believe that Jim Cramer was right. But I'm trading it just like Larry said. We got to trade the market that we're in. We got to trade it one day at a time. We got to trade it one candle at a time. My biggest winner today was actually a stock that I had been acquiring on a $20 daily purchase called SBET. It's a sort of a gambling play. The gambling stocks took off and SBET got a sympathy run up. And I've been acquiring it. I started acquiring it around 90 cents. I acquired it all the way down to 36 cents and had quite a few shares and it popped up and I had about 5,000 shares and that amount doubled today or doubled in value today. But Mo, tell me a little bit about some of your plays.
Yeah, I got something for you.
Winners and losers.
Hopefully put me on the big screen there and I'll show you this. And we'll put this up. And for those who follow my channel, this is the VOO. All these are VOO. You can't see the stock symbol on there, but this is VOO. This is that challenge I did last year. And remember, 2022 was the worst year ever. And I haven't put this on my channel in a long time. But you see all this red? This is the weekly buys. This is how much they're down from week one. The market is still down 13.64% from the first week of 2022. I told the YouTube audience that if you would just put $100 a weekend to VOO long term, you can get through some of the worst times in history and still make money. If you look up here, I am now, this portfolio is up 2.15%, up 122 bucks. You might not think that's a big deal. And as you come down and you take a look and you see all that red, this is how many weeks we're still red. But then look, I kept putting 100 in every week. And all of a sudden, everything's green. And you're getting paid dividends. You're getting some dividends. You got money on your principal. And it's a good thing. Even the crypto weekly, $100 in Ethereum every week. Look how bad it's down. 56%, 70%, 47% from the beginning when I started. But we're only down 3%. How? Because if you come down and you see how bad this was, all the way through FTX and everything, even through FTX, BlockFi, all of them. This account is only down, and then you come down, you start to see $199. That's it. 3% dollar cost averaging $100 into Ethereum every week. So I wanted to share that first. And then you ask about some of the positions. Like Josh said, I also came out and had a hedge, and I still have my hedge, and it's going to get hit tomorrow again because of Meta. But I have a hedge of sqqq for my overall portfolio. I have a very small position in that compared to the overall long positions I have. I will say my portfolio is over 90-something% long. And I think some people out there believe that it's like all in sqqq. I said there are many ways to protect your long positions. You can buy put options. You can short some. You can also do the inverse, which I did, the inverse ETF to protect with a little bit of leverage with it. So I did all that. It was a short-term hedge, and I still believe that Michael Burry is easily correct. I like to read the data, as I talked about in the beginning of this video. And all signs point to a recession coming. Now, some of the stocks have been making me money. BP, British Petroleum. If you guys don't know, I have a huge position in that. It's up money. The energy stocks have been doing well, paying a very nice dividend. The bonds have been doing very well. So, and I got a lot of bonds in there. I think it's making up over half of my recession portfolio. They were up. And so when you set up a portfolio and you do that, and you got to make sure you're diversified. It's not all in one stock. If you're all in one stock, that's on you. If you want to make sure you're doing it the right way, where you grow even through bad times, I just showed you how to do VOO, and I even showed you crypto. I never tell you what to buy and sell, but I just gave you a year and 2 months worth of data that has taken me that long to put together and show you firsthand through one of the worst downturns in market history, and it's still up money. And so I think that's an important part for the audience to remember, that dollar cost averaging is one of the best tools you can have to get through some of the worst times.
Mo, this is great long-term advice. I'm curious, what advice like this are you providing and sharing in your Discord? I mean, I know that you've got your portfolios. Are you sharing? Yeah. Are you sharing with them what you're doing with your bonds?
Yeah. For those, first off, if you guys haven't hit the like on this video, take a second, put the mitts in there, put the hearts, put the coffee cup, put Tessa Cat in the comments, hit the like button, subscribe down below. We have links down below. Subscribe to all 4 of us. You put us all together, you get 4 different viewpoints. And I've always said this, surround yourself with those who can help you and work as a team. So getting all these different viewpoints, that helps your due diligence. At the end of the day, you need to call what you're going to do with your money. And it's good to hear 4 different people do that. I have a Patreon. You guys can come on over and join that. I have member-only videos. And of course, we have the portfolios and a Discord with thousands of members. It's a great, positive community. And if you're looking to get to the next level, you can do that. I have member-only videos I've started now, where I go over what I was thinking, all the positions I'm buying and selling. We pull up some of my accounts that I have over some of the different stock places like Ameritrade and Moomoo and all those. And so you can take advantage of that. Make sure you click on his link down there and sign up.
Are you talking about your bond positions there? Are you getting into that and explaining
as well? Yeah, I talk about that in there. What my thinking is, when I expect bonds to actually really start to move. We haven't seen anything yet with bonds. I actually think there's still a little bit of a chance that bonds could lose a little bit of their value up over the next few months, but give it about 6 months from now. And I think that's a chance. I actually think we could make money. That's why I'm in it so hard. But I do believe we get by the end of 2023, bonds are going to go crazy. And so I'm excited about that more than you would know. I have the majority of my money will be in bonds, most likely by the end of this year, as well as growth stocks and small caps. That's where I'll end up at the end of this year.
Mo, personally, I believe that a year from now, I am looking forward to the victory lap that you're going to do on that bonds portfolio. I think it's going to do really well. I'm just going to quickly take a minute here, and I'm going to go to Kenan in just a second. But we're going to talk about some crypto. You know, I've been saying consistently that it looked to me like Bitcoin just had an itch to get to 25K. Ethereum to 18K. The market just gave it permission. It kicked open the gates. The bulls are running, and I think they're going to be running to that 25K mark. Now, to me, that's been in the books. It's almost been settled. The question in my mind is, are we going to get to 28K? But at the moment, I think that the market's been, it's ringing the bell. It's driving the bulls forward, and Ethereum to 1,800, Bitcoin to BT, to 2,500. I think that we're going to see Polygon Matic possibly hit $1.30. Put your stop losses in, put your trailing stops in, let it run, but then if it pulls back, let those trigger and just enjoy those winnings. Kenan, tell me a little bit about your thoughts on crypto. Are you playing anything? Are you interested? What's going on there, brother?
All right, Josh. So I'm glad that you asked me that, right? And I wanted to just say this. I have not looked at crypto this week because I've been so focused on FOMC, right? And this reminds me of something that somebody said to me. They were like, Kenan, right? This is when I first got on YouTube, and I was still getting used to talking to the camera. You know how it is, where you talking, because you're really talking to yourself in the room. Yeah. So then somebody like, man, Kenan, how are you, speaking so confidently? When I look back, I don't even think that was confidence, but I could see what they were saying. And then I was thinking to myself, I sound like I'm speaking confidently because I only talk about things that I know, things that I can prove, things that I can show. And if I don't, now it's time to listen. So with crypto and Bitcoin being 25K, the last time I looked, it was 22K. So hearing that it's 25K, oh yeah,
it's 20,
now it's time for me to
it's knocking on the door of 24, but I believe that with this market push up that we are going to possibly touch up on that 25. So right now we're right at 23,815.
Yep. So like I was saying, now that means it's time for me to listen. And then I go and do the research, pull the receipts out, and then I'll have a better idea as to what I think crypto is going to. But you asked a question that I wanted to address as well, right? And just know, I'm going to go look into the crypto now that I see you're saying that we knocking on the door. So I got to run the technicals on that so I can see, is there a clear runway? Because you said 28, right? Notice that a lot of people will be thinking 30.
I think that
I know why you said 28,
go ahead.
Just from knowing who you are. You're looking at a particular resistance level where there are a lot of sellers, I can imagine. So this is what I'm going to go and do and check on that. But I wanted to ask you, could you share my screen with me or with everyone? Can you share it? Let me see.
I think it's up.
Window. Okay. This one. So this is the screen that I'm trying to share. Let me see what happens here. See if you can see that.
Can you just
try to
pull
that up for me?
Can you got a switcher so you can just replace yourself?
I think Josh got to do it.
Okay, I'm going to give it a shot. Hopefully I don't mess this up. Go ahead.
There you go. You good, Kenan?
I think he's muted. Kenan, you might be muted.
Oh, because he went to the other camera. Just talk until he gets back, Josh.
Let me pull him back in. Go ahead, Kenan.
Look, now that I'm back, now that you guys saw that, right? You can play the video back if you want, but that screenshot is what I wanted to show you. And you asked, what am I up the most on? And what I'm up the most on is my long-term investments, right? I'm talking about my VTI, right? The high majority of my portfolio, like I've been telling the family for a long time in terms of stocks, is just ETFs. Why? Because just like Mo was saying with VOO, for example, these things are the foundation of your portfolio. So you might hear us talk about some type of, stock that they could consider a hype stock, or some stock they could consider a meme stock or a meme coin or something like that. But at the end of the day, you got to have a strong foundation. You know how I say, if you can't handle the heat, consider investing in index funds. The reason I say that, if you really take a second and think about it, is because you can't handle the heat because your foundation is weak. You got to strengthen your foundation. And then once you have a solid amount of ETFs or even blue chip stocks like Microsoft, for example, then you can say, okay, now that I built that foundation out, I can go and try to explore and look into more swing trades, right? Your whole portfolio should not be able to move, let's call it 50% in a day. That shouldn't be able to happen. Why? Because VTI won't move that much, or Apple won't move that much, or Microsoft won't move that much. So your entire portfolio shouldn't be able to swing. I had seen somebody in the comments earlier today, and they said, man, I lost all 30K. I had 30K in my account. I lost it all. You can't do that if you have a strong foundation. You're building a house on sand, and we need you to build it on granite. We need you to build it on some type of bedrock. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I just showed you that picture so you can see. And if you play it back in the video, you'll be able to see it. For whatever reason, it won't let me show it and talk at the same time. I seen that I was muted, but I got my foundation, my ETFs, and then I have individual stocks on top of that. Those are my Apple, and then those are my Microsofts, my Teslas, for example. Then my swing trades, right? These might be something that you get in and get out of. Small percent of your portfolio, right? I want to show you another thing really quickly, and I'm gonna get muted, I'm sure. But Josh, try to help me to share this, right? So
I
want to show you this really quickly. And these are the laws, because we were talking about options trading, right? Options are very hot and very fast. So you got to have laws. And I want you to take a screenshot of this, and then I'll be able to talk. And I'm talking to everybody who's watching the video. Take a screenshot of this when I pull it up. So Josh, if you can, pull that up for me real quick, and then I'm going to.
Larry, what do we do about this being muted?
I don't know why it's muted. I can't. It's got to be on his end or your end. I don't know what to do with it.
It says guest. Okay, let me pull him back in. Okay, Kenan, we got you muted there. Go ahead.
Okay, so while you work on that, I want to just let everybody while you've seen that, I have 5 laws that I follow when I'm trading options. The first one is you always got to keep in the back of your mind that most traders are not profitable. So since we know that, we have to understand and say, if 98% of traders aren't profitable, what are the other 2% doing? Because clearly they're doing something different, right? Just because they're losing doesn't mean I have to lose. So then we want to figure that out. You got to understand, though, when you trade, then I go to law 2. You will lose sometimes. It's a part of the game. Imagine that you were playing basketball. Imagine you were playing soccer, football. Imagine you were playing any kind of like a contact almost sport, and you expect to never play defense. If you ain't playing defense, you ain't in the game. You understand what I'm saying? So you will lose sometimes. So since you know that you're going to lose sometimes, you want to make your losses very small. So I answer your second question, Josh, which was, what was your loss? I did an option on a live stream. I want to say, what's today? Tuesday. So last Thursday, I lost $38. $38. That was my last loss. But remember this, since you will lose sometimes, you want to keep your losses small. My last wins, I've been winning thousands of dollars, right? Hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars. And then boom, you lose sometimes. $38. Sounds like a good trade-off to me, right? So then we got to understand these kind of things and stick to laws that we will follow. Because again, your emotions will make you FOMO into something, having a fear of missing out. Your emotions will make you hold on to something too long because, oh man, the technicals, they were telling me that, and no disrespect, the technicals was telling me that the market was going to fall. Jerome Powell was going to make the market crash. If you get so married to these things, you will miss the opportunity that's in front of you. Just like we like how the markets is going up right now. If we get married to it and we see it turning around, how are we going to transition our mind over and say, okay, now it's time to make money on the put options. Now it's time to make money on the way down, right? Don't get married to any one direction. You are always doing yourself a disservice because you got to understand, believe it or not, you know how we were talking about Jim Cramer saying the market was going to go up and Michael Burry saying the market was going to come down. Guess what? Depending on the time frame, they're both going to be right and they're both going to make a lot of money. But guess what else? I bet you that Michael Burry has a hedge against his short position. You understand what I'm saying? The people, billionaires, the people who have hundreds of millions of dollars like Cramer, these kind of people, the family, they'll tell you something. And I'm not saying that they're not looking out for you. You be the judge of that. But I want you to know that you don't get to see what they're actually doing. You don't get to see it. So then you get to see what you do. So then you have to make the decision and say, hey, if I think the markets are going to come down, what if they don't come down? Are you just going to miss out on the run? Or what if you think the markets are going to go up and then they stop going up? Are you going to miss out on the put options on the way down? Family, it's time to really take the time and just say this. I get whatever I get in the market. I don't get to choose, but I know I can make money either way. Like they always say, the bulls make money, the bears make money, but it's the pigs that get slaughtered. That's what we got to keep in mind.
Larry, I'm coming right to you in a minute. Kenan, thank you for dropping those nuggets. I loved every bit of it. I have to give a quick shout out, Larry, just one sec, for some of the super chats. Marco Garcia gave $50 and he said, "What's up, Josh? I'm killing it with all my call options, especially with Tesla, 100 call options. I want you to take man with the big heart out to lunch. God bless you guys."
I love him. I'm the man with the big heart.
I think you are.
I get to go to lunch.
We're going to lunch, Larry. We're going to lunch. I also got a one from Stock Up with Larry Jones. Guys, forgive me if I'm not calling these out. I'm learning this live software. As they said, this is my very first time. I have to admit, I feel so privileged to be in this YouTube journey with you guys and to have these incredibly wise, heavy hitters doing my first live with me. I can't imagine how many guys would love to be in this position. Thank you all. Larry, hit it. What is it you need to say, brother?
Guys, which one of you knew that the market was going to do what it's doing today? Raise your hand. Nobody, right? Not the talking heads on CNBC, not Michael Burry, not Jim Cramer. Everybody was guessing. The technicals is saying one thing. The fundamentals is saying something else. It's confusion, good people. And so at some point, you have to make a conscious decision. So what do you do in a bear market? You have to go back to your fundamentals, right? Meaning, if your fundamentals is charting, then you go back, you go to charting. If your fundamentals is literally going to the fundamentals, then that's what you do in a bear market, because you got to look longer. We are in a recession and still could be heading to a deeper recession, even with this bounce. Now, the question is this a bear market bounce? Is this a sustained bounce? Or have we bottomed out? So everybody that's complaining that I missed the bottom, if the four of us don't know it and you only been trading for 2 years, you think you know that this is the bottom? I can tell you the best stock traders in the world don't even know if this is the bottom. Amen, gentlemen? Nobody knows. Yeah. So what you have to do, like Mo said it excellently. I always say, trade the market that you're in. You have to have a short-term plan and a long-term plan. Hey, Josh.
Yes.
I stole this from you. I watched your video on this, and this was so excellent. I'm going to use this. I'm going to steal it. So make sure you save that to a hard drive. I love this chart because what is that top line doing? Is it ascending, going up, or is it going straight down?
It's going down.
That's what it's going down. But in between it going down, you see the lows and the highs and the lows and the highs. But what you see is lower lows and lower highs, right? That's what I look at. So we still we are still so far off of the top. And if GDP continues to grow, then down the road, our lows will get higher and our highs will get higher, leading into the next bull run, right? So the question is, if you were one of the ones that was blessed to get in Tesla, the question is, do you have your stop losses set? And the bigger question is, what is your plan if it turns around and mow you down like Tesla did in 2020? What happens in 2021? Just what if? And so my message is this. Number one, you don't need permission to trade. You do what you do. We give you guys information. That's all we do. None of us are responsible for your trading. We give you guys information. But if you time this and you got into crypto and you just went all out on Tesla and you just put all your money in there, Mo and I have seen this. Me and Mo been trading since the 90s. We've seen this cycle 92. So many times, right? 92 was my first trade.
Yeah,
Mo,
me too.
How many times has this happened where everybody thinks it's new and then it turns around and snatches all your profits when you were sure we were at the bottom? Yep. That's not the way this works, right? And like Kenan said, none of us are going to get it right all of the time. I'm not. So somebody came to me. It's funny. They said something publicly, but then they come back private. Hey, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm like, what are you sorry for? I was mad because you made me miss this one play But I started to think I made money off of your last, 15 plays, and I missed on this one play. If I don't care if you made money off of the last 4 plays, if you miss one and made money on 4, then you're doing better than the entire stock market. So what I'm going to ask the audience is, do you have your stop losses set? If you see the technicals or the fundamentals saying that whatever play you're in is too frothy, or this is just a bear market bounce, will you take profits? That's what I want to ask. Go ahead, Josh.
I'm just going to quickly say, one second. I'm going to quickly say thank you to Quentin Cook for his super chat of $20. It sure feels good to be back in the roundtable meetings. I missed you guys. Let's get that money, y'all. And I want to just
say, my dog. Shout out to Quinn. That's my dog.
All right, thank you. I want to go back a little bit to 2 comments that I saw. One of them said that they had blown. I got a comment in the chat group today, said they blew a $5,000 option account. Blew it up today, wiped it out, gone, money gone, bad calls. And, I'll be honest, my heart sank when I saw that comment. I see someone else here put in a comment just moments ago saying that I got wiped out because I trade mostly options. I'm just going to go back to it. If you guys are at that place, options are dangerous. That's why you need a good teacher. Now, Kenan attempted to put these rules up. Now, I saw those. He shared those with me in the past on just a conversation that the 4 of us were having. And I loved them. Great rules. And I sat there and I actually screenshotted it when he threw it up. And I spent some time looking at them because I really wanted to understand what he was doing. I wanted to understand what he was teaching. And I think those are great, Kenan. And I'm going to say that if you blew up your account, one, I feel for you. There's no, you are not the only one that's done that. We've seen billionaires, millionaires left and right for the last 12 months get annihilated. Some of them are in jail. Some of them are heading to jail. We're not retail is not the only ones making mistakes. But if you're at a place where you're wanting to start again, I'm going to send you back to Kenan. I'm going to send you to his Discord. And I'm sending you there, not because Kenan is a buddy of mine, but because I looked at his rules. And I thought to myself that if you guys take those rules to heart and you put them as disciplines, you will succeed. So I want to direct you guys back there. Mo, tell me what's on your mind. You've been a little bit quiet here.
Appreciate that, Josh.
Yeah, we'll throw this up, put that screen over there. And I know you guys, once again, let's see if we can get this on that screen. There you go. I'll just make it a little smaller. Ethereum. Somebody asked me, you guys said, what's your best thing? It's been working for you. For those who've been a part over there at my channel, I've been continuing to buy and load up on Ethereum. Today, 1687, 7% over the last 5 days. Last month, 38.96. Year to date, 40.63. The FTX collapse was horrible. It wiped out a lot of people, and it also gave an opportunity to buy it at what I believe was going to be one of the lowest prices we would see from here on out through the next bull cycle, which will be happening in 2024 with the halving of Bitcoin. So I did want to point out that we are far from where we were once you look at this. But yes, I do believe moving forward that Ethereum, to all the crypto followers out there, we don't talk a lot about it. I believe the future is bright, and it'll drag a lot of altcoins up with it, as well as Bitcoin. And I can't wait to see Ethereum dethrone Bitcoin sooner than later.
Hey, you got Matic up there. Let's see what Matic is doing. That's that. And
I don't have Matic on there, but
Matic is my dog this season.
Guys, we're going to keep this right to an hour today, but I'm going to ask each of you to give your final thoughts as well as your thoughts on where the market might go in the rest of this week and the days ahead. Larry, you're on. Why don't you tell us what you're seeing? Hey, and everyone always asks me, Larry, real quick, everybody always asks me. They always ask me, if I mention to them that I'm going to lunch with you, they say, let me know if Larry's loading up. Sure, are you loading up?
I will say right now, let me say this. I made a ton of money in the last couple of weeks, like five figures in a week. And I don't mean low five figures, high five figures, just doing options in the last week. I have a rule when I do that, and that is I'm not doing options tomorrow. I don't care if I even see an opportunity, because one of my rules is after I have such a big win, then I cool it, because what will happen is you have to protect your money from you, because you'll try to outdo yourself. So now I'm like, oh, I made 50, so I gotta make 60 tomorrow, and then you blow your entire account up. My disciplines tell me to just cool it, or even take some money out and pay some bills. Like, that's what it says. So right now, because of the money we just made, all of you guys just made, I'm cool. I'm chilling. I'm like, shh, I'm cool. So I'm not loading up on anything right now. But as you know, last week I was just on fire because I saw these opportunities. But now I'm gonna be honest with you. There's something about this market I don't quite trust. I'm gonna just say it right now. I'm just so skeptical. If you listen to the Fed last couple of Fed meetings and you listening to him on this one, he's not even the same person. He go from a hawk to a dove, and then from a dove to a hawk, because verbally that's one of the tools in his toolbox. So that's one of the things that I'm just doing right now. I'm just gonna cool it for a little bit, but I strongly suggest to the good people out there to protect your gains. Look into trailing stop losses as well as stop losses, not just on your stock, but your options too. All of my stop losses got triggered this morning, and I kept raising them as my options went up and my stock went up, and then they all triggered. I'm good. So I have zero risk, and now I'm still mostly cash. So now what I'm going to start doing is DCAing, but I'm DCAing with half the amount. And then if we have another leg down, then I'm going to double down. So that's what I'm going to do. And I just want everybody to be careful, because sometimes, and Mo knows it, Mo, I wanted to hear what you was going to say right behind me. You know this, Mo. When the market goes up too much, too quick, it's something in you that's just like, oh, this is too good to be true. Then you start to pull back based on past losses, right? Bulls make money, bears make money, hogs get slaughtered.
Thank you, Larry. Mo, go ahead. What are your final thoughts?
I'll state it again like last time we met. First things first, make sure you subscribe to everybody. I love coming on here. I learned something from all three of you. Every time we get together, it's amazing. The different perspectives, it's fantastic. For me, for anybody out there that says, Mo, what do you think? What's the best way to get through this torrential downpour that's going to probably happen later in the year, but also to kind of enjoy some of these gains and stuff? Have a diverse portfolio. Don't sleep on the 60-40. What's that? 60% equities, 40% bonds. It's traditional. It works. I think this is actually going to be one of the best times to take advantage of something like that to preserve and grow your capital moving forward. I still love bonds, as you know, but how long is this whole little, we'll call it either a bull market, like Jim Cramer said, or a bear market rally, like I think Michael Burry believes it is. I don't know. I don't have the crystal ball like those down in DC. If I did, we'd all be billionaires. But I will say this. I'm going to continue to start transferring some of the gains over into those bonds, into some of the recession plays. And of course, I'm not afraid to continue to DCA into some of my other hedging positions, sqqq. It's a small one, but the higher we go, the more I'm going to hedge, and that could be including adding on some put options as well. We'll see. So stay nimble, keep your head on a swivel, and understand that as quickly as this has come, and you know what happened in 2022, one bad report, one comment from the Fed, it can turn on a dime, and you could be looking after 3 days of seeing the market down 5-10%. So I remember those days. Larry brought them up. Hey, you know, we've been through it. We've seen 2008. We've seen the dot-com bust. We've seen some of the things through the 90s. It's been ugly. We've seen 2020. You got a lot of you here have as well. And 2018 had a little moment. It wasn't any fun. If you remember all those, every time you thought you were out of it, you weren't. But then when you thought it was just going to keep getting worse, we hit capitulation. the next bull cycle comes, we all make money. And that, I believe, will happen sometime in 2023. So we are getting close to an end.
Thank you, Mo. Kenan, what are your final thoughts?
So I got a few final thoughts, actually. So, I'm a student of the game. I learn every time I wake up, and I tell myself either today I'm going to earn or today I'm going to learn. And today I feel like I'm doing both at the same time. So I would like to impart some of that on you. So I just seen one of our guys, his name is Super Steeler. He's in the chat and he says, I follow the TA trader, technical analysis trader on here on YouTube. And the guy was wrong about the current rally. His charts were showing that the market was going to go lower. Now, you want to know why a lot of these guys on YouTube get the technicals and then something happens and then they're like totally wrong and they can't believe it? The reason is because it's like this. To a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. So if you go and you learn how to do technical analysis, that is now your hammer. So you think this is going to solve everything. If you go and learn the fundamentals, now that's how you're going to look at the market, and then that's going to be your everything. So there are YouTubers who tell you, oh man, don't do this, don't do that. Only buy ETFs, only buy things like that, right? And they miss out on all of the 100% gains that they could have had in a day because they're either this or they're either that. What you want to do is find some sort of a balance, right? You got to say this. And again, shout out to Josh he said he took a screenshot. One of my laws, actually, I want to say it's law number 5, is the game is not fair. Technical analysis works, I would say 70% of the time, because anyone who really understands technical analysis knows that the news will blow your technical analysis right out of the water. If the charts are going down, and it looks like everything is bad, and then Jerome Powell says, you know what, I'm done with the rate hikes, family, it don't matter what the charts say, this thing is going to go on a rocket. If Apple comes out tomorrow and says, hey guys, look, we know our stock has been kind of flat and sometimes we've been going down, but we dropping an Apple car tomorrow and it got more range than any car ever had. Guess what's going to happen to Apple stock? It's going to go through the roof, no matter what the technicals say. So technicals work, but then remember, when you got news catalysts coming around and then somebody's talking to you about technical analysis, they don't care. Jerome Powell don't care about your technical analysis. He's going to say what he's going to say, and then the market's going to react to that. Now, the other days, when we don't have things like CPI data, when we don't have things like earnings, when we don't have things like inflation and rate hike meetings, technicals work then. So then we can't be surprised by that. Anybody who has been doing technicals for a good amount of time knows that there's a thing called false breakouts where it looks like it's about to take off. Oh, I lied, it's going down. Or false breakdowns where it looks like it's about to tank and then you get caught into a bear trap. And next thing you know, your portfolio is getting smoked because you were so reliant on something, but you got caught in a false indicator. Now, I want to say this. Really pay attention to the market, and you got to step back and get a large picture of it, get a grand picture of it, and don't just think, okay, technical analysis is everything. News is everything. These things work together, and then you get a full picture. So then I wanted to just say this, and somebody else said, you know what? Oh, Larry said this, too much, too quick, right? When the market's going up too much, too quickly, why does it crash soon after oftentimes? Family, if you got into the water and you cut your arm on the boat when you jumped in, would you be surprised if a shark showed up? You wouldn't. You jump right into where, oh man, there's sharks. Your arm is bleeding. It's attracting the sharks. When the market is going up really, really high, really, really fast, it attracts two kinds of sharks. It attracts the FOMO sharks, the people who, I can't wait to get in. But it attracts the short sellers. It attracts them because they're coming to take your money from you. These are the people who are betting against the companies. They can see all of your orders coming in. They can see where your stop losses are. They can see that you just try to pick up 10 shares of this and 10 options of that, and they just working in the background. The SEC, the alphabet boys, they say, we don't see them doing this, but these market makers, these hedge funds, these private equity, they can see everything that you're doing. So then when they see all of the retail running in, they're just ready to just short the market and then make all of that money off of your back again. Citadel Securities, one of the largest market makers and just investing firms in general, right? They had their best year of all time in 2022. Could you believe that the stock market was dropping from day one until literally the end of 2022. Yeah, there were some little rallies in there, but the whole year, everybody's long positions were getting smoked. Citadel, they made a lot of money. They made billions and billions of dollars record profit. Why, family? Some would say, again, allegedly, supposedly, hypothetically, they could see what you're doing in the background, and then they can make money off of you. So then you got to look back and look at the whole picture here, family. This game is not fair. So whenever you think that you know what's going to happen, you just setting yourself up to be a sucker for somebody else who is going to use that confidence against you. So always remember that if you get too confident, this is when you will lose. So always tell yourself, yeah, I'm pretty confident. However, if it goes the other way, I'm willing to accept that. I'm willing to say, this is what I need to do if it starts not going my way. If we think that, you know what, we look at the fundamentals, we look at the economy, that we're going to get a bear market, we're going to get a hard recession, and then we're pretty confident in that, but then the market is going up and up and up. Oh, guess what? Then I'm going with the bulls now, because I'm not going to get married to any one idea when I see a better one presented in front of me. And I wanted to say these last two things. I know two guys. One of the guys, I'm not going to say his name because I'm not going to be name dropping on here. I know two guys. One of them made $1 million trading call options in less than a month. $1 million. And you know who this is, but I'm not going to say his name. The other guy you don't know. And he made $2 million doing call options. He put 20,000 into a crazy risky call option. I would have never did this. Next day, this thing was $2 million. And he's like, man, Kenan, I'm a first time multimillionaire. And I was like, wow. Guess what he did? The first guy who made the $1 million, he locked it up. He said, look, I'm gonna pay the taxes on that, and I'm just gonna live clean from here. Right? He felt that he was very fortunate. But the second guy who made the $2 million, who put 20K on a risky bet, those same behaviors that got him lucky like that to get from 20,000 to 2 million, he then put the 2 million on an option, held it overnight, and then guess what? Boom, now it's 80,000. Still a great come up, going from having 20,000 to 2 million to now 80,000. But why didn't you lock in being a millionaire at least? Should have locked that in and then maybe traded 20,000 again, see what happens, right? But no, people don't have rules. They don't have principle. They're not standing 10 toes down on some laws that they are ready to say, this is how we're going to do it. So now I want you to be responsible. If you are trading, and I think most people should be investing, because those are two different things. Investing is you buy and you hold. Trading is you try to buy low and you try to sell it high, get in, get up, and get out. Make sure that your investing side of this is very strong, so we don't have to hear that you lost $5,000 holding options overnight. So we don't have to hear that you lost $30,000 and blew up an account. These things never need to happen if you understand the game. And the last thing that I wanted to say too, because you know me, as soon as you said that thing about Bitcoin, my technical analysis brain is like, I gotta check. If Bitcoin goes over 25.2 on the technicals, remember, news can happen. Something can happen with Bitcoin and it could totally invalidate the technicals. But on the technicals, if we go from 28 or 25.2 and we break past that resistance level, because resistance levels are just where the sellers are, then it's almost a clear shot to 28,000 flat, right? Before we start to encounter more sellers, right? So those are just the technicals. If we hear something new, it is what it is. So now that's what I wanted to say to everybody. If you want to go back and listen, you could rewind the video, but that's what I got for you today.
Hey, Kenan, on that note, we got someone here saying, Super Steelers, Kenan, forgive, I butchered your name. What is the name of your YouTube channel so I can subscribe? It is Kenan Grace.
Oh yeah, I'm Kenan Grace on YouTube. It's my name. Just look up my name, and then I'm right there.
I'm gonna come back in. Hold on, I gotta say something. I'm gonna come back in.
Okay, Larry, in just a second. And then in the description of the video is all three of their links to their pages. I'm telling you guys to go and subscribe. Larry just got off, but I'm sure he's coming back in just a minute. Mo, any thoughts at the moment?
No, that was it, man. I gave you my advice. I think things will look good moving forward here, and I get it. There's a lot of different ways, and that's the beauty of following everyone. You're going to have a lot of different data to go through. You can see the different strategies, do your due diligence, find one that works for you, and hopefully you'll be very successful. Stop chasing the breadcrumbs. It's time to get the loaf. Let's create generational wealth, and I think as a community, we can help each other absolutely do that.
Thank you, Mo. Larry, did you have one more thing you wanted to add?
Yes, and don't worry about the hour, Josh. It's going to be fine. The people are in, man. You got 1,800 people watching you right now. Congratulations. Yep, 1810. So listen, we're here for the people. That's what we're here for. When this journey started, we didn't know it was going to end up this way. But Josh, being the newest member, we were the Power 3, now we're the Core 4, as they call us. And I just want to tell you guys this. Like, you guys know Josh's page should be like 200,000 subscribers right now. So I'm asking you guys to help Josh by sharing his page and all of our links with your family, friends. What I really wanted to say was this, and I'm just going to tell you guys the truth. These hedge funds like Kenan was just talking about, do you know there's some hedge funds? There's some hedge funds that won't even talk to you unless you have $500,000. You see the commercials. Do you have $500,000? Then call us. Blah, 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 blah. We'll get you 7. We'll get you 10 to 12%, right? The amount of information between these gentlemen, you guys are getting hedge fund. You guys are getting better than hedge fund information because we telling you the raw truth, and you guys get to get it for free. You got such a well-rounded group with all of us. We all kill it in our own individual areas. And then to have Josh to come on, who is the best charter I know. I've been doing this a long time. And I'm not saying this because we launched this page right here. I'm saying, you guys put some hearts in the chat if you know I'm telling you the truth. Josh is hands down the best charter I know. Better than CNBC, Fox Business, you name it. Because it's not because I'm saying it. I'm following the plays. He kills it more often than these guys do. Let's see some hearts in there. So we laid back right now. We've been working like crazy to keep you guys fed. We're going to continue to give you guys the absolute best. And one of these days we'll have Mommy Trader on and talk about dividends, stocks. We're going to continue to give you guys the absolute best. Everything we got. Yeah, we see them hearts. That's what, Josh, that's what you are, hearts, right?
It is.
You do hearts, right?
Yes.
So, hey, let's just do it. Let's stay together as a family, because I'm going to tell you right now, if you draw a pie and you look at the overall stock market, we're still in the bottom third. Even with this bounce, we're still in the bottom third. We still got all of this to go. And I guarantee you, with this Core 4, you guys are going to make money. Look at them hearts going crazy. So that's what I wanted to say.
Larry.
I love each and every one of you guys. It's an honor and a pleasure to share this stage with you, Kenan, with you, Mo, and with you, Josh, and this family.
Thank you, Larry.
Every time.
Yeah, I chose the heart because it reminds me of the people that I am investing for, the people that I want to take care of, the people that I want to serve, and the things that I want to do with my life for others, as well as for another reason. Because it honestly takes heart as courage to get up every day and to go after the money on Wall Street. There is piles of gold on Wall Street. There is a magic money printer machine. I've said it over and over again, but they're just not going to hand it to you. You've got to earn it. You've got to learn the skill. You've got to learn the trade. You've got to put time in. You've got to do your due diligence. Recently, I said in one of my videos, I said, take your biggest position, whatever it is, and simply Google it and say, is this, whatever that name of the stock is it going to zero? Is it going to crash? Is it going to fail in the recession? And read whatever pops up. It might give you a balanced perspective. It might help you to consider to put a stop loss in, to hedge your investment. That's what I want you guys to do. It takes courage to go after these markets. I've got these 3 kings right here who are doing that each and every day, making videos for the community. I watch them. I like them. Go to each of their pages and subscribe. StockMo's link, I was told in the comments, wasn't working. StockMo, I'm sorry about that, but it is StockMo. He's got one of the most recognizable names on YouTube. You can Google StockMo and you can Google stock. And the very next link, name beneath it is StockMo. So you can go find him.
I'll have it changed. I'll have it changed by the time you finished.
That's it, guys. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate all of you guys that followed along today. Hit the like, subscribe, change it to all notifications on the YouTube bell. We're going to do this journey together. We're going to see how these markets perform. I'm going to be bringing the charts. These guys are going to be bringing hot plays. We'll see you guys soon in the chat.